Joining us now on the MARR Army Rock Show, all the way from Sweden. Gosh, I love being able to do these things via Skype, man. Another great band out of Sweden. This one who's getting close on to about 25 years of rockin'. We have Christer Anderson from Tab Morose. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Nice to be on it.
Yeah, so, man, almost 25 years as a band. I got to tell you, that's an amazing thing. And you being the founding member there, reflect back a little bit on the 25 years, man.
Yeah, well, I don't really know what to say. I mean, I guess time flies. And the more fun you have, the faster the time seems to pass. So I guess I've been having a lot of fun times during those 25 years or something, because it just feels like, a couple of weeks or something. Well, not really, but yeah, you know.
It sure seems that way as you're covering stuff. So, what an exciting week, man! The new album, Saint Ammonius, is due out here in the U.S. this week. So, this is, if I did my calculation right, this is about your 9th release. So, can you update people on the lineup of the band who for some reason have lost track a little?
Well, the current lineup, which this been a pretty steady lineup for a couple of years now. Of course, it's me on guitars, and it's Peter on drums. Peter joined the band back in '95 or something, so he's been on every album except the first one. And then we got Tommy on bass. He's a long-time friend of mine, and we played in various bands when we were young and everything. And he also were in another Bollnäs band called Morgana Le Fay for a couple of albums. He played guitar back then he switched to bass and stuff. And he's been in the band since, 2007, 2008, something. We got Ronnie on vocals. He's been in the band since 2008, I think. Also a long-time friend of the band. And the new kid in the band is Kenneth on guitar as well. He's been in the band for, 4 years perhaps now, something. He also played, before he joined Tab Morose, he played in Torch, Swedish 80s band, if you ever heard of them. He also played in a band called The Citadel.
Now going back, going back to 2008 when Ronnie joined the band, of course from Steel Attack. What did Ronnie's presence do to the dynamic of the band?
Pretty much. He's a very musical guy, so to say. He always comes up with lots of song ideas. He's a pretty decent guitar player as well, and comes up with very weird guitar riffs that's very hard to play sometimes. He's just about as crazy as the rest of us, so he really fits well in the band. So, he's also kind of a driving force. And, when you're playing in a band, you stumble on a lot of musicians and so on. And one thing that crossed my mind is that there's a lot of musicians around, but most of them really doesn't seem to have made up their minds whether they really want to play in a band or not, if you know what I mean. Perhaps that's kind of, it's not unique for the music business, I guess.
Right.
But, it's really nice when you get the right people in the band and everybody's decided years and years ago that, this is what I want to do no matter what. And then you just keep at it and do it make the best out of it as you can.
So, I'm excited to hear that Saint Ammonius is out this week. Let's ask you a couple of questions about that. Now, first, let's look back and tell me a little bit about the making of the video for the song My Demise.
Your own demise, you mean?
I'm sorry, your own demise. It's late where you are, and it's early where I am, and I'm reading wrong.
Well, no problem there. The first video we released from this upcoming album was for the song Forlorn, and we just did that by ourselves. The record company really wanted us to have a video to promote the single and so on, so we did it real fast and everything. As a band member, you kind of run out of ideas to do videos and stuff, and of course nowadays everything is on a limited and very tight budget and so on. So we said that, next video, perhaps we should ask somebody to do it for us, because we seem to have no good ideas or whatever. So we talked to another friend from our hometown of Bollnäs who is really into doing videos and stuff, and he said, I got a whole bunch of cool ideas. And we said, fine. And then we didn't really hear much more about it, because it was Tommy, the bass player, who kept in contact with this guy, and we kept asking Tommy that, well, when and where and how it's going to be. Well, I don't really know. He doesn't say that much, but the day was set and everything, and we didn't hear anything. And well, to make a long story short, the day came and we were just sitting in our rehearsal place waiting for this guy to come, and he comes there and says, aren't we supposed to be on this or that location? And we kind of looked at each other and said, well, you tell me. We don't really know anything. So, I mean, time just flew pretty fast, and we just kind of shoot from the hip there and then. We did it at our rehearsal place again, and took whatever we had. And when all the things were filmed, of course, I mean, if you're talking about Tad Morose, everything that might go wrong always seemed to go wrong. So, I mean, crashed computers and lost files and whatever. But, I mean, it actually came to the point where I went home to the guy who had the files. I took them on a USB stick, and then we drove to Gävle, where Ronnie lives, which is an hour south of Bollnäs. So he got hold of the files, and then he could complete the editing of the video and release it the day after. So it was really, whatever. I mean, it just turned out to be basic performance video as well. But I mean, whatever. Who cares?
Well, it came out really well, man. Hey, talking about the album, so I've been working my way through, listening to a lot of it. Tell me, the one that stuck out to me was, tell me about the meaning behind "Where Ignorance Reigns." What's the meaning behind that song?
Should really ask Ronnie, who wrote the lyrics for that, I guess. But I mean, most of the lyrics are about, the good and all the good and evil things that is going around in the world today. I mean, we all know, with all this religious bullshit and politics and greed and crap that pisses us all off.
So,
kind of thing.
Yeah, man, when I listen to your music, there seem one of the things I've noticed about your band over the years, like, it's, I want to call it, like, emotional, in that, like, sometimes your music seems happy for a little while, but then gets kind of real angry in the same song. It seems like you go through, like, a roller coaster on every song. Is that about right?
I never thought about it that way. I mean, we never set out in advance to write a song that is fast or slow or about this or about that. I mean, we just do it. You feel like doing it there and then, so to say, and it turns out like that. So, and I mean, you also, whether you like to admit it or not, you get influenced by everything around you. I mean, not only music, whatever you see on TV, I mean, smells or whatever really gets into the music some weird way, I don't know, and we just do it, and it turns out the way it does. So I guess we're both happy and angry at the same time as persons as well.
I noticed as I've had so many cool Swedish bands on the show that in general I find a lot of Swedish and Finnish bands do tend to write more elaborate lyrics than a lot of American bands. Have you noticed that pattern? Like, it's not just always, party rock and roll, but a lot of Swedish and Finnish bands seem to have kind of elaborate lyrics to me.
Perhaps. I'm not really the kind of guy who really gets into the lyrics, so to say. Perhaps that is typical for guitar players. But I mean, perhaps. I mean, we try to be as aware of the things in general that goes around in the world. And I mean, we always try to be, I wouldn't say that we try to be unique, but I mean, it's kind of like, feels a bit lame to write another song about beautiful girls and partying or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, man, I see in September you're heading out on a European tour. Man, I see dates in Germany, Holland, Poland, and Sweden. And I got two questions about that. One, calling to you from the States here, is there any hope of a U.S. tour?
It will be very unlikely due to the various problems there is for European bands to come to your country and play. I mean, the visa issues and the paperwork needed to be done is just ridiculous, I think. I mean, I don't know if the American politicians are so afraid of heavy metal musicians from Sweden or Europe that they have to have these weird regulations and whatever. I mean, it just makes me laugh, which is really, really sad. I mean, it costs a fortune just to buy the flight tickets to go over there and be there for a couple of weeks to tour. And then you have to also add all the costs and times and whatever to make it through the visa regulation and everything. I mean, I can go forever tell you about perhaps, European heavy metal musician that really was a threat to America or whatever. I don't really know, but I mean, hopefully it gets easier in the future. I don't really know, but I mean, if we can solve those problems, I mean, we would really, really love to go over to America and tour there. So, I mean, if it was just down to us, we'd be there right away, so to say.
So, as the rest of the world goes, outside of Sweden, what would you say are like the three countries where your band is the most popular, that has just latched on to Tab Morose?
Germany, of course. I mean, heavy metal has always been kind of really big in Germany and everything, and lots of bands from Sweden or whatever country go down to Central Europe and mostly Germany to tour and whatever. So it's kind of like, and also the former Eastern countries like Poland. And I mean, this is the first time that we play in Poland. So we got 2 shows on the upcoming tour in that country, and we really don't know what to expect there. But we heard from other friends who plays in bands that toured there and say, all the good words about the fans down there. So really looking forward to that. So, and for some reason, we seem to be quite popular in United Kingdom as well, which is kind of weird because the English people seem to really like their own bands. No matter how bad the bands are, they prefer them instead of any other band. I don't know if they're nationalists or whatever. They seem to like us, and also a few other Swedish bands as well. So yeah, we'll see.
Hey man, one last thing before I let you go. You're coming up on 25 years. Do you have any kind of special plans or things that the band's going to do for like a 25-year anniversary, or have you not thought about that yet?
Well, first we thought about doing something for the 10th anniversary, and that just pushed by real fast, and 15, 20, and I don't really know, time just flies so fast. But, I mean, as I've always been saying, I mean, we got so much video footage from our career and stuff like that, and it's just sad that it's just lying around in boxes at my place. So, I mean, I've been talking to the former members as well, and, I mean, we kind of like, well, perhaps we should do some DVD or whatever. I mean, some concert footage, some documentary crap or whatever. I mean, just for the... I mean, not at least, but I mean for us as well. Fun to look at and remember all the things we've gone through and things like that. So it would be nice to do that. And of course, we're thinking about it. It's just down to the cost of doing it and the time to do it, so to say. So, I mean, we got so much footage that we need somebody to go through and pick the good pieces out of it. So we'll see, perhaps.
Well, man, we're going to be looking forward to seeing what comes out. I want to let everybody know, get out there. And St. Ammonius will be out this week here in the U.S. Friday the 28th, it's supposed to be out. And I've been fortunate to get a sneak peek behind the scenes at some of it. It's a great album, definitely worth checking out. And just another killer band from Sweden. Man, you guys are big producers of rock and roll. And Tad Morose been doing it for a long time over there. Chris, thanks so much for being here, man.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us. Play loud and drink beer and have a good time.
Great send-off.